Jessica Jean Westphal was murdered on July 31st, 1973. I was raised in a home with 4 brothers, and I had a precious sister. And she was the youngest, and she was the apple of my dad's eye. We lived 25 miles from town in rural Montana, and one day she went to spend the night with her girlfriend. It was the first night she spent away from home, and they left on their bicycles to go to a store, and they were never seen again. We had no idea what had happened to them. We found the bicycles and they were gone. And so we looked for our sister for 3 years, and we didn't have no idea what happened to her. About 2 weeks before Jessica was abducted, we were watching a Christian program on Sunday morning, and they had given an altar call on this TV program, and Jessica got down on her knees and prayed before the TV and accepted Christ. And so we realized that there was something big going on in her life. The way I personally coped with the loss of my sister is I had a choir class in high school, and through music it was the way that I was able to get through it. My choir director was a believer and made a huge impact in my life. I went to a Christian concert, and that's where I accepted Christ, at my high school. And my older brothers accepted Christ, and my younger brothers accepted Christ also. And so we had an understanding where our sister was. We as a family were going through a very traumatic thing, and we didn't. My mom was saved, but my dad was not saved, and so my mom would pray, and my dad was very hard, and he didn't understand why God would take his only girl. He had 5 boys and 1 girl, and he couldn't understand that. And it was about 2 years later, actually 3 years after my sister was abducted, my father accepted Christ as his Savior. And so we were able to get through the tragedy because of Christ and what he has done in our lives. 3 years had gone by, and some hunters had found the girls. They had been buried in a shallow grave. We were able to be a part of retrieving the bones that had been spread out by the animals over the countryside. I know it sounds maybe a little bit morbid, but the act of going out and bringing back her bones was very healing to our family. And we all knew where she was. She was with Jesus, and so we had that peace, and this brought closure. God pursued me because he wanted to use me in ministry, and I gave him a lot of who I was, but I didn't give him everything because I was still holding on to some real hatred would be one word that you could use for the man that murdered my sister. And I held on to it for 15 years until I came to a point in my life where I realized that for me to be used fully and completely by God, I needed to totally surrender the man that murdered my sister to God. And when I did that, it was a weight that was taken off my shoulders and put squarely into God's hands. And he gave me a peace that would pass all understanding. And he spoke to me and said, Greg, if you would just surrender him to me, then you can be used in ministry because you love people, and I do love people, and He loves us so much more than I could ever love.